Cool. We are recorded.
We are on. This is what it is. Hey, my man, that's
Yo,
Adele over
yo,
there.
yo, that's Young Day Tweezy, man. He's talking about special guests. This is episode 4. We got a lot going on. I think this is gonna be like a 2-part.
Yes, indeed.
You
It got
know,
me, man. The King Crown Jewels podcast. This is episode number 4. We have the illustrious, the beautiful, the all-knowing, the most high exalted
come on now.
Claudia Jordan.
Speak on it.
Wow.
I love that intro. You made me sound like a way better human being than I am.
Nah, man,
all
we still
facts.
crazy. That's way iller than. I just can't believe it. I'm so like bugged out that you were able to make the time in your busy schedule to join us today.
Oh, please. My busy schedule these days consists on getting on the Zoom once a day for my show, and the other 23 hours of the day I'm eating. So this is a nice surprise. Like it's an hour or whatever. This is however long it's gonna be. That I won't be shoving my face with apple pie and brownies and pasta. So you're helping me out here. So I appreciate
That's so great. But you did say because of the place that you're at, that they kind of get you like that. Did you get accustomed to that out there in Texas?
Listen, when I was in LA, I was damn near drug addict skinny because that's how everybody else is. And I wasn't even on drugs. I just was around everybody else that was skinny. And we're hiking, we're eating kale,
Runyon,
meats. Yeah, and then you hear it's like barbecue. It's okay to be thicker. They actually like you like that. And it's like people, there's a lot of socializing here. LA, you're by yourself in your car. Here, people like to kick it and be around each other and cook for each other. And they show up to your event. It's amazing.
Wow. But if we're going to talk about it, I mean, we should talk about it.
Yeah.
Dealing with being a supermodel and for so long, like weight. And isn't that something that's like always on your mind, or was it something that was always on your mind? I heard that. That wasn't your stomach.
And I'm in a high rise, so I get to see, like, I feel like I can get struck by lightning over here.
Don't do that. Please don't do
that.
Y'all.
That's the weather.
You call me a supermodel, which is a huge compliment, which I'm not a supermodel. I was a medium model. Like the supermodels, like they had to be really thin. Like I remember when I first started, I would take the Amtrak train or the Greyhound bus from Providence, Rhode Island, where I'm from, to New York 2-3 times a week, just trying to get in and trying to get down with a modeling agency. And I would go to all of them and get turned down because I'm too thick and too short. And when I say too thick, I was like 125 pounds, 5'8". And they were like, can you 115 if you're athletic, 109 is where we like you to be. I'm like, I was 109 in 5th grade.
Wow.
And I'm black. And black folks, we got denser bones. We got the muscles.
Right. It's the muscle.
Wow. Big boned.
Strong bones. Listen, it's a fact. Black folks, we have strong bone teeth. It's true. So, I like to think so. So, it just wasn't possible. So there really wasn't a lane for me as a fashion model. Right. But there was a lane for commercial modeling. But it's such an unrealistic skinny they want you to be. Mm-hmm. And I could never be on that level of like the runway models, like they're, and kudos to them, but they're thin, and I'm a greedy motherfucker. I like to I'm a fat girl in a medium girl's body, but now I'm a bigger medium now.
As you should.
Everything's bigger in Texas, though.
Everything is bigger than Texas,
including my ass. So here we go.
See, that's why we got all the black going on. See,
y'all thought I was trying to act like I was in a race. It's because I'm actually sick now.
I said it was the stars in a race.
Exactly. But we have to. You brought up Rhode Island.
Yeah.
We have to talk about this journey, because when we first connected, we're celebrating honoring our baby, King Magazine. And we had the great fortune of having you grace some of our wonderful pages in that premiere issue, and so we're very appreciative for that. And I believe at that time those Prices Right days.
Right, that was I was in Price Right 99 to 2003. So yeah.
Oh
man!
You said it was an honor for y'all. It was an honor for me because back then they were just King Magazine was the ultimate when it comes to beautiful Black women in magazines where we weren't exploited. It wasn't. It was very tastefully done, and I think other magazines tried to be King Magazine, and failed miserably or missed the mark, or some were just they weren't. It was the
Some
level
was just what they were. Some was just like, yo, this is what we are.
Right. And there's a lane for everybody. But
Yep.
the thing about King, you knew if you were good enough to even make it into the pages of King magazine, you were kind of certified. Like seriously, like women would look at that and be like, wow, she's beautiful. And y'all put the kind of woman in the magazines that you really can't hate on, because it's a fact. Like it was like, wow, they want me to shoot for their magazine, because it was well done, fellas. It really, really was. And I miss those days.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
That whole time, that was the aim. That was the aim. Right. That's what we wanted to shoot for. And the fact that you agreed to do that, especially being on such a high profile show, it really meant a lot to us. And that little tuck away that you did, you was just like, like this, and then the leg out on the couch, it was just crazy. So we were super excited when the photos came in. I do want us to get you to speak on your days at Price is Right and what led up to that. Like, how did that even start?
I went to LA in 1997. I had just won Miss Rhode Island, and I went to LA before my year was even up as Miss Rhode Island. I'm like, I'm out. So I went to LA, and I was like, I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't really know anyone out there. I went with $500 and, just some hopes and dreams and aspirations. And I had all these conservative Miss Rhode Island clothes and suits and, blazers. I look like a flight attendant all the time. And everybody was dressed sexy. I'm like, oh shit, like I look like a nerd out here. So I think I spent 400 of the 500 on Melrose to get some like video, so I can go and audition for videos and whatever. And it took like 2 years. I got on The Price is Right. They had an audition. They looked through a lot of different women, their portfolios. I went in, and I remember the producer saying, "No, that is a pretty girl." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And so they called me to come in, and they rotated a few different models, and they asked me to, join and be a part of the cast. And I'm like, this is the longest running TV show on television, daytime. I think it was at almost 30 years at the time. And it was an honor because I was taking Miss Parker's place, and who was Kathleen Bradley. And it was to be a part of, that's American television history.
Automatic.
And let me tell y'all about the fan mail.
Yes.
You get the best letters from prisoners, hands down.
Yes.
Let me tell you, the way that the wordplay, when they draw pictures, the shading,
the shading is immaculate.
Oh, the detail, the angel wings, and then they say stuff like they think in terms of 30 days, 60 days, 90. They don't think one day or hourly. It's like, when I get out, I'm going to take you to Disneyland for 30 days. I'm like,
every day.
Wow.
A little long, sir.
Yo, we used to get so many of those for the women. So I understand where you're going with it, but I didn't even think of that aspect of it for Price is Right.
Me either.
Because we're like the porn of for television. Like
for regular daytime.
Yeah, they see girls in bathing suits. They're like, oh.
Yeah,
full bottom, bathing suit, but that's enough.
That was enough. Now, you were there with Bob Barker.
I was. No, he didn't actually harass me. I was offended. I feel like, damn, am I not cute enough?
Right.
Yo, damn, Bob, what up, man?
I will say this. I did experience some things there from someone who's dead now. Okay. So I talk shit about him. But Bob Barker never flirted, with. He barely spoke to us. He spoke to me a little bit because I was an athlete and he respected that. But for the most part, he was a little bit. He was grouchy sometimes, but sometimes he would be nice. But sometimes he wore a lot of makeup. I'll tell you that.
He was like 100 then, right? Like he had to be like mad.
And he's still alive, yo. He's still alive.
What?
Wow.
Bob Barker.
Right. Wow.
Oh man, I can't even believe that.
They about to do Happy Gilmore too.
Well, right.
So for you, I'm curious. Like, what was it like? I mean, obviously, Price is Right, very mainstream show, something that we all grew up on watching, as kids. For you to get to the point where you're operating in that space, but also, coming over, hanging out in the urban space. Like what was that dynamic like for you? And was it hard going back and forth to both, or what was that like?
Not to me, because I feel like I've always like, I I feel like I think you should always start off in the urban market, and because like if you have loyalty to the urban market will have loyalty to you. And I wasn't in such a rush to run out of the urban market. Actually, I started doing more of the urban stuff after I did the mainstream stuff. So I think some people think, they've made it when they get on white platforms or white shows or white magazines. I was just talking to someone about this today. I really think that Black artists need to really be careful about abandoning Black award shows and Black magazines once they made it, because you are doing a disservice. The Soul Train Awards and BET Awards should have every major Black celebrity in attendance, and it shouldn't be, I'm here to accept the award for so-and-so. They should be there. Because once upon a time, these white platforms weren't fucking with us, and the Black ones were. So when you get to that level, you should still have grace, and you should still make time. And it does, and stop calling Black things ghetto that don't it. Because there's some white ghetto shit too. Okay. Don't do a trip to a trailer park and see how ghetto they live over there.
Oh, for sure.
That's real.
Ghetto is not a Black thing. And we got to stop saying that about our stuff and just like demeaning our stuff. They get their inspiration from us while you bullshitting.
All the way. All the way.
I'm gonna need Black folks to really still have that loyalty to these award shows, and they should. And I say we because I work with some of them on the red carpet, and sometimes I'm like, why isn't this person here?
Yeah. But then if you're at one of the other type of events on the mainstream side, they're there. So it just kind of boggles the mind. Like, okay, we see where you're going, but I guess like the saving grace on your side is that you kind of started on the mainstream side and you made the decision to go over into the urban side. So that
which is not always easy. Which is tough.
Well, it's like I said, the Black community is very important to me, and some people are quick to point out, but you're half white or your mother's Italian. Yeah, she is, but guess what? I don't live my life as a confused biracial woman that doesn't know who she is. I know how the world looks at me, and I know how I live and how I feel in my soul. So I don't have that. I'm gonna throw shade. I don't have. Well, no, let me not say her name.
Woo, reeling.
It was coming. It was almost there.
I don't have that thing like a Stacey Dash that seems to like be all over the place. Like, oh, I'm a Republican. I'm this. I'm that. And then they use you, and then they shit on you when they're done using you for that social media thing. They throw you away. I am very pro-Black. I am very much for our people. So like, I don't have that issue. So I love doing stuff in my community. My first job in media, honestly, was for the only Black owned and operated newspaper in Rhode Island, the Providence American newspaper. It's like Black owned, operated. I made $6 an hour, and I loved it. Okay?
Yo,
and I
brought a smile to your face just now saying it. Like you were back there for a second.
I went to the Million Man March. I was one of the only Black female reporters that were there, on the ground, boots on the ground, 1995 in DC, Million Man March. And I remember a couple of brothers saying, "What you doing here? No women's supposed to be here." I said, "Covering this story, this historic event."
That's right. I'm here because of that. And since you brought that up, because I did not know that. Wow. Like, what was that whole thing like?
You know what? We did it we took a bus from Providence to DC. And I think there was one other woman on the bus. And I remember it being a great honor, even back then. Like when I ever get questioned about my Blackness, I get highly offended because I didn't do this for social media. There was no social media in 1995. There was no social media. The word clout wasn't even used like that.
Right.
I did it because I cared. Matter of fact, if we want to take it on back to college, when I was in the Black Student Alliance, I was very active in it. I was a shit starter back then. When the Rodney King verdict dropped, 1991, 1992, me and one other brother, we put together a nonviolent vigil in our school, and we had a little panel, and my school had like 2,000 people. I think like 1,500 people showed up, and we only had like 50 Black people on my campus. And I thought it was extremely important for the white students to know how we're feeling and to open up this floor to talk about our feelings, how frustrated we were with police brutality. I've been talking about this shit since 92. So I remember being a part of that, and it made the news, and I was one of the organizers. I went the next day to my track meet. I was nice in track, by the way. Came back, and I had an old school answering machine. You youngins don't know what that is, but you had to press the button.
Press the button.
I pressed it, and it was a message from the KKK. And they were like, "You Black nigger bitch, we're going to come rape you and shut you up."
Stop.
What?
Yeah, that's how. So my school just wasn't protective of it. They wanted to confiscate the tape and like make it go away. And I remember walking to the convenience store, and me and my friend, we would get glass bottles thrown at us from the back of pickup trucks. So this is a thing for me. So anytime when my blackness is questioned,
Yeah,
that's why I know I clap back a lot online, but it's like it's things that I'm passionate about. I'm always gonna fight for it. I'll never shut up. So there's that.
wow. So to see experiencing it back then and seeing it come to a point now, my goodness, like what was your viewpoint of everything that's happened over like the summer, dealing with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor?
I think, goddamn, we're still in the same place, except we got iPhones now to film it.
Right.
And then I also think about how sad, I'm very sad to think how many other George Floyds were there that were never captured on camera,
Right.
that never got justice, that no one gave a damn, or in these little small towns where the sheriff is a known racist and you know you're not going to win. You know what I mean? And it just makes me sad that we're still doing this. I look at movies like Rosewood, in the 1920 something, and we still experiencing a lot of the same stuff. They still coming in our neighborhoods and fucking them up and then pinning crimes on us that we didn't do. And you know what I mean? And initiating and instigating us and then punishing us for fighting back. And that's why I hope that this time around is a little bit different. I did feel in the summertime, it felt like there was a little bit more like, all right, let's start supporting Black businesses for real now. Let's start supporting each other for real. Now, I will say, I walk down the street and before we mug each other, and I've been seeing more like people being like, what's up, sis? You know what I mean? And it's a start.
It's a start. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. Yo, hey, man, do you see where this?
I'm just blown away because it's so interesting. Because I mean, for us to hear these stories now is like fascinating because it's helped to, put two and two together in so many different ways. Because you got to think, mainstream America, first time we laid eyes on you was The Price is Right, and it's like you never really know. I mean, you got to think when you're a kid, you don't really think of those people having real lives, being real people, and if they are, they might be a certain kind of way. But it's just really interesting, just to hear you, right? Yeah. To really hear you, and to get past the perception of who you might be, and like how was that played out though, for you? Because the thing is, like I said, to start off in mainstream, to be able to sort of cross over and do the urban thing, or we shouldn't even say urban, the Black thing, right? Do the Black thing. Right. That's not always a given of somebody from a mainstream space to be able to come into our space, because it's like, oh man, I don't know, is she really down? Is she, I don't know,
in that way, like, what's that like?
Right.
I think that it's a choice, and it's all comes down to your value system. Do you value white America's approval over Black America's approval? I don't. And I don't think we should keep saying stuff like, this is a good neighborhood, this is the white people live here. Why? There's filthy, raggedy white people just like there's filthy, raggedy Black people. Like, we can stop associating our stuff with less than and their stuff as better. Like, why? Just because they're white? Like, let's go back to judging by character and how you take care of your family and how you help out your community. And I just wish that's one thing I wish we need to start working on, that, because I think little Black kids hear this and they immediately undervalue themselves when they hear their parents say stuff like that. How can it not? I remember that, you hear stuff like that when you're little and you just think that our neighborhoods are worse. Our everything is worse. And that plants a seed of doubt in every little kid's mind. Like if you're not careful. So I choose to be down with my people, and I'm not gonna get to a certain level and just look down my nose. I'm still going to the BET Awards every single year. They give me tickets, although they always wait to the last minute to approve.
We've been on that last minute line.
Man, we have.
I still like people myself, BT. Come on, man. But you know how it is.
No, it's been so cool to see you maintain that balance. I think that's one of the things that we've admired. Just seeing you, even as from a fan perspective, to come out the gate, so high, and then to do cool projects on both sides. I know for sure, during that King run, we definitely revisit revisited the Claudia Jordan experience with this amazing show. I mean, remember Deal or No Deal Day? That was crazy.
Yo, that was
crazy.
To be able to jump and then go into that with Howie, and Howie was real early on the pandemic, like extraness. He was a germaphobe or is a germaphobe. I mean, working with that whole team, what was the timeline from you going from Price is Right and then into that, or was there something in the middle?
No, there was like a year. So my time at Price is Right ended with there was some issues with one of the producers, like I said, and I had a lawsuit against them that they settled with me, and that's how I got some of my ice. But anyway,
that's that rape. That's that rape talk.
That's rape talk.
That's that rape talk.
I'm just it is what it is. So anyways, I thought I was gonna be, there was some concern if I would ever work again, but I felt like
meaning hold on, Chloe, like meaning like blacklisted type of thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I was on a big platform, you know what I mean? It was CBS, and a huge company, but it was a show that already had that reputation. There was some things that happened on the show, a little bit of touchy-feeliness, but anyways, there was a point where they offered me to come back at one point in the negotiations, and I was like, nah, because you're gonna have me come back, so I sign off, and then you're gonna fire me.
Right.
So I stood my ground because it was important to me. And let me just say this. I'm very grateful for that experience because it was a dope ass experience. It really was. And I loved everybody there. I loved 98% of the people there.
Wow.
That's big.
That's a big number. Yep.
98% of the people there. And it was, and that's historic. So it was like a year that really I was like, I don't know if anyone's gonna rock with me. But then I got a call for the pilot of Deal or No Deal. It was gonna be on ABC. ABC passed on it, I think. NBC picked it up. We did 5 episodes. So fun. And that shit took off.
It was like this.
That was massive. That was massive.
The highest rated show on NBC since Friends. Even at our 4th season, we were still at 13 million viewers.
That's crazy.
Wow.
The aesthetic of that show, I guess, is the suspense. You know, most game shows, they all have suspense, but to actually wait, and you can't front, everybody had a favorite girl. So it was like, number 17, I'm waiting for the 17, man. Like, you know, it was a wild, like, so you have people invested in the actual outcome of the show. You have people invested in the women, and then you realize like 13 million people are watching that. That's getting into those Super Bowl numbers and all of that stuff.
I mean, it was a big hit, and Howie Mandel was a super dope host. I like his dark, edgy humor. He remembered all of our names. He
you remember? Whoa, he remember all of y'all names?
He did. He's got this super. I think he had a super kind of crazy brain. Like you could tell him a story and he'll remember it, and he's paying attention. He's not one of them celebs. Yeah, whatever. He's like he's locked in.
That's dope.
You know? He's dope. I love Howie Mandel, and I hope I work with him again. On that show, fun fact, is where I met Donald Trump. Well, I met him in Miss USA because that was the first year he bought the pageant, but he was a guest on the show. He was going to surprise a contestant. So he was kind of walking around, talking to the girls, kind of, you know, taking the temperature, saying he wanted to put someone on his show. I was into real estate at the time, like buying houses and stuff. And I was always telling all the girls, take all your Deal or No Deal money, don't buy these bags, put it in property.
Yeah.
So he's asking girls and they're like, nah, we're good. We don't want to be on that show. It's business, whatever, boring. And then he comes up to me and he goes, I hear you're the girl I need to talk to. I said, you damn right. What took you so long? So I was thirsty. So he liked that. And then he got my information, his security guy, and then we kept in touch. And then he fought for me to be on the show. We became friends, and we were friends for a little while. Well, for years, actually, until he started with that Barack Obama birther bullshit. And that's when I had to step away because he was, he liked me as a person. So if he likes you, he will fight for you.
Right.
I could have been like an Omarosa and just taken advantage and just like kept my mouth shut. But if I see you doing something to someone that is a black man that I 1000% respect, and you know how important this is to black people, why do you shit on him like this? You are disrespecting all your black friends. And he did have a lot of black friends. There was a lot of people I would see in his office. Russell Simmons would have, he would allow like young camera crews that Russell Simmons sent over to interview him that weren't even big name people. So I respected that. But then to see him turn around
Right.
and demean and diminish Barack Obama's legitimacy, it really hurt my heart. And I felt stupid. Like, were you like this the whole time?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you just get caught up with the political jockery that was happening, how they was the Tea Party and the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And he's changed, but I wasn't hip to his history with like the Central Park Five and all that. And that was my bad. I didn't know about that.
Right. That was a huge thing in New York.
Yep.
So I mean, so you all, I've heard you talk about this before. You were pretty friendly. You had access to him. You'd be able to reach out. I mean, is this guy that we see right now, does he even seem familiar to you at all?
Not at all. I would never be friends with this guy. I would never be friends with this guy. I would never rock with someone that says the kind of things he says about groups of people. I would never rock with someone that is okay knowing 666 kids don't have their parents. I would never be okay with a guy that refers to Black people as my African American and clowns. I would never be okay with a guy who doesn't say shit about a Black man that comes to your rally and supports you, Herman Cain, that dies, and you go, what really happened from the pen? It's okay. I would never be okay with a man like that. I would never be okay with a guy that fucks porn stars, raw dog while your wife's pregnant, and then pays her off and then tries to talk shit about her. You chose to do it. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? That's not my seed anymore.
No.
So.
Yeah, that ain't it. But having the experience of being on that show though earlier on, did that catapult your celebrity to a degree in ways that you didn't expect?
I thought it would do more for me, actually. I will say, I think being on Real Housewives of Atlanta gave me more eyeballs, more notoriety than Celebrity Apprentice. I actually thought Celebrity Apprentice would get people thinking less of me as a model and more of me as a brain. A little bit, but not as much as I thought. The first time I did it was a Celebrity Apprentice, and it was an appearance fee. Then I went for Celebrity Apprentice All Stars, and it was like triple the money. So it was a cute check the second time. But it did lead to Donald's hiring me to host the Miss Universe pageant in 2009. He wanted me to host it, and I did with Billy Bush, and that was amazing for me. But did I get more work out of it? I don't know. I don't know if it's that or just because I've been busting my ass since literally 95. You know what I mean?
Right.
He didn't give me anything. He didn't give me money. But he recommended me. And then still NBC has to say yes. It's not just like a one-man show.
That's real. Wow.
I'm thinking also for you to, you obviously said it would have been great for people to see you on Celebrity Apprentice, acknowledge you more for your brain.
Yeah.
You're not just a pretty face. Let's talk about that transition and what it was like. You coming into Hollywood, you modeling, you hosting, you being a personality, you being in front of the camera. Let's talk about the transition of how things sort of was then and how it sort of got to where we are now. As far as like, women who consider themselves as models, personalities, hosts, et cetera, et cetera.
I'll say this, just because someone's a model doesn't mean they necessarily should be doing hosting or acting, because really they're kind of opposite. Models, no one cares what you have to say. They really don't. Like, you don't get to choose how your hair is done, your makeup is done, the clothes you wear, or even the look. That's all picked by the the production manager, the look, the magazine, the client. So really modeling, it's shut up and just, give me a look. And then to go from that to commercials, you have to emote, and you can be pretty and get some work, but at some point you have to say some shit that makes sense and be able to speak in a sentence, And I struggled at first because I was very insecure. Although I was a model, when it came to talking, I had a funny Rhode Island accent. I have a little bit of a lisp, So I was very insecure about making that kind of jump. But I've always been the type that whatever I was afraid of, I'm gonna go do it.
That's real.
And that's what makes you so the radio thing, I was modeling, whatever. And actually I'm gonna shout out two people. Yep. When I was on Price is Right, this producer named John Johnson, he's such a nice guy. He was doing the show, an interview. One of my friends was on the show, and she needed a friend to like speak, like kind of be like a character witness on the show. And once he met me, he's like, I love your personality. And he gave me a job at Fox Sports West. and I was doing red carpet stuff for the Best Damn Sports Show in 5 years.
Remember that?
That's way back in the day, right?
Yeah, Best Damn Sports Show.
He believed in me with no experience. He just said, I like your personality. And to this day, even last year, he gave me a shot at another gig. And I just, people that take chances on people that don't have a resume before they're hot, to me, I'll always rock with them. I'll always be loyal to them. And then there was also my current boss, James Dubose at Fox Soul. He's the head of programming there, the head of the whole thing. And, you know, I came in to fill in for Mike Hill one day, and he one day turned to 3 days, turned to a year later, and now I have 3 shows on the network. And, you know, he didn't have to give me a gig, but he took a chance on me again. But yeah, just I will say this, how we got here is not never being afraid to try something new. Even if you know, you got to see yourself, be open. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, be open to seeing yourself the way other people may, maybe not the way you do, because we may think, oh, I'm a supermodel, I should be this. And then someone might say, no, I don't really think you're a supermodel, but I think you'd be a good actress. This, and be open. Don't get offended by that. You know what I mean? Like rappers, a lot of rappers out there, not all y'all should be rapping.
But they have personality to do other parts of entertainment and other things. That's the thing to catch on to. You're right.
And you never know, like that thing over there that you maybe thought, I don't want to do that could be your meal ticket. Who would have thought I did radio? You know how I got radio? I did a commercial with Jamie Foxx for Coors Light, and I became friends with him. And then I would tell funny stories. And one day he goes, I told him this funny story about my ex who tried to get a part as a monkey in Planet of the Apes. And I thought it was like, no black people need to audition for this movie unless you're the lead. You can't be an extra monkey on them. I don't want you to do that. And he did it anyway.
Wow.
And he didn't get the part, so I ended up clowning him, right?
You can't even be a monkey in the Planet of the Apes. You can't even be a monkey.
How that's got to do something to the ego. Like, man, so I made some jokes about it on stage, which got really taken out of context, and people tried to flip that, like I call black people monkeys, and I'm like, no, I was talking about one particular person who failed to get a gig as one, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. So, shout out to him, though. Much love.
I told Jamie the story, and he was like, nigga. You can never not be here. So that's why I got my radio job on the Foxhole. And then kind of one thing like so just
that was
not
on Sirius XM.
Yeah, we used to say, you know what, we used to talk bad about everybody, but that was the era of it was shock jock time.
Right.
Howard Stern was like, you know, we were like the black Howard Stern, and it was a different time, and it kind of sometimes comes back to bite us in the no one else seems to get in trouble except for the stuff I said. Like everybody went hard, all the male comedians, but whatever I said, people take it as she was being mean, and I'm like. I remember telling Jamie one day, I go, you better always keep me employed because we be going in on everybody and there ain't no one gonna fuck with me after this gig. But it was just jokes, everybody. I swear, I didn't mean anything.
It's just jokes. So, Deal or No Deal, that ends, what's that range?
2003 to like 6, maybe 2006, 7.
And then after that, what's going on?
It's kind of struggling a little bit. It got canceled, and nobody kind of knew what was going on. And I had like a 3-year time where I really didn't work, and I lost everything. Actually,
what?
Yeah, I went through it. I was super depressed. Like I went like from feeling like I was on top of the world to wondering when the eviction notice was going to come on my $500,000 house that I bought by myself with no down payment money from any ballers because I was too lazy to be a hoe, and I have all these morals and integrity and. You know,
it's lazy to be a hoe. Damn, it takes a lot of effort, huh?
The difference to be a strong woman on your own. The difference.
It's hard. But
it's not feel like hoeing today. Damn, I'm just tired.
I'm like, damn, all these freaking NBA players and actors trying to get at me, but I'm just too lazy and I'm too feisty to put up with your shit and then keep my mouth shut. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it the good way, the moral way. So yeah.
What were you holding on to? A lot of people go into depression and their way out of it is asking for help in certain different ways. Sometimes not asking for help, other times going towards, prayer. What were you holding on to that helped you get out of that?
Honestly, I almost didn't. I almost didn't. Like there was a whole bunch of personal things that happened that were just like relationship, and there was like work, and then just feeling like I realized that my whole career I had just put all my self-worth on work. So when I was hot, I felt good about myself, and when I wasn't, I felt like shit. Like I remember looking into the mirror and thinking, like, I am ugly, and there's no way anyone's gonna ever hire me again. Like I saw an unattractive person because I was so depressed. I saw something like it's like I had face and body dysmorphia. Like you could not tell me that I didn't see what I was seeing. It was the devil. Like I was really in a dark place. Imagine having being on stage, hosting the Miss Universe pageant. I started in pageants, and then I get to the top, the best gig you can get related to pageants. And then from that, then going from that to I had $1 million in real estate. I had 2 homes that I did it all by myself, and then going into foreclosure and losing them both. Like I didn't work for 3 years. I went through my savings. Nobody was fucking with me. I felt like I had a curse on me, and I felt like I'm like, did I piss off?
Why is this happening to me?
I was like, did I piss off the Illuminati or something?
Right.
It felt like that, honestly, you guys. I'm like, they never hollered at me, but I don't know what's happening. It felt like too many things were just being taken away. Then this reputation started coming out of nowhere. I'm like, what is this? What's happening to me?
Started to become public as far as getting out into the news type of stuff.
No, there was I just had a different rumor about me every month, and I thought I had built up enough equity with people that they ain't gonna believe that about me. I ain't never carried myself like that. Like, why would you believe I broke up this marriage? That's my boy, or I don't even know this person. But people started getting up. That's when blogs started to take off. You know what happened years later? A blogger told me after he just ripped me for years and said the worst things about me. He said, "I'm sorry, you're actually cool people, and I wasn't trying to ruin your life." He goes, "But talking about you for some reason made me a lot of money." And I'm like,
wow,
that doesn't make me laugh. That
doesn't help.
I'm like, so you made a lot of money with stories about me that weren't even true, and it hurt me in relationships. It hurt me with my standing. I feel like I should have been way bigger, but everything just stopped for years. And I remember the day, I thought, I can't take this pain anymore. It was way too painful. I'm gonna just drive off this cliff one day, because I used to drive mountains on my way home. And then I'm like, okay, what if I live and I'm fucked up?
It's the other aspect. Because
honestly, I was like, what if I survive and I'm fucked up? I mean,
now it's really bad.
Exactly.
Then I was like, okay, well, what else can I do? And I really was just gonna pull my car into my garage. Actually, I did it. I pulled my car into the garage of my house, and I knew everything was the walls were coming in, caving in on me. I'm just gonna keep the engine on with the door closed and just go to sleep, and it'll be peaceful. But my garage door, I keep the door to my house open because I put my cat's litter box in the garage because I don't want the litter box in my house. Right. My cat walked up the house and looked in out of the hallway and looked at me. And I was like, I can't kill my cats.
Yo.
The cat in the garage, and I let all the carbon monoxide out, and then that was it. And I just cried, and it was hard. I ain't gonna lie. I had to pretend I still was a celebrity that was broke, that had $80 in the bank from having 6 figures at one point, and $1 million, like I said, $1 million in real estate. And every day I was worrying about when that foreclosure notice would be gonna come get my shit, because I didn't have. I paid a guy to help me with a financial planner. He scammed me and took my last.
Oh my God!
I think I needed $24K. I was behind my mortgage, and I think I had 15. He took it, so then I had nothing, and the bank was like, "Sorry, you are on time for 8 years, but fuck it, we can't." And they want, and then there was all this predatory lending from the banks back then. They were just targeting Black people, giving you these adjustable rates where your mortgage is $3,000, then all of a sudden it goes to $5,000, and then you're like, oh shit. They were just targeting us, So I lost it all, and I had to start on back at square one. I had to go back into an apartment in North Hollywood from having had a roommate. I had to keep that a secret. And I remember just saying, I've been so good to people. I haven't taken anybody's man. I haven't lied. I haven't cheated. I haven't stolen. I care about others. And why is this happening to me? And I just little by little, one thing would happen. And I took this class that actually changed the way I looked at myself. It was you ever hear of landmark education? It's It's like a self-help thing where you kind of like change your perspective instead of being like, woe is me, I never get the gig, to changing it to being grateful for the little things. Even if you have like a half cup of water, like I'm grateful. And it really helped. I swear to God, I got VH1, Celebrity Apprentice All-Stars, a show on Centric, and then Atlanta Housewives, Ricky Smiley. Like it has been like ever since.
All the way. After taking that class and changing your mindset.
It works. I mean, it was big, but it was bad. And I was like, damn, like, I don't know what, I really would like to know one day, like why that all happens. But
so taking the class is one thing, right? I mean, they help to give you some sort of toolkit to process information, but like how do you process that? How do you process that now when you take a couple steps back? I mean, have you like come up with anything in terms of just like, okay, I was being tested, and you know, like what? I'm pretty sure you've had multiple conversations since then as to, you know, coming up with some sort of reasoning as to why you were tested in that way.
I know that I have been way too nice to people and allowed a lot of people close to me that I had no business even giving them my real number. And I think that because I'm going to be good to you, you're going to be good to me. And sometimes people have motives to come in your life. I feel like I let the devil in my life at one point. And I felt a sign when I first saw this person, and then I ignored it. And I felt like that was my punishment for letting this devil into my life. And I felt like I really felt like there was a darkness on me for a long time. Like it felt like a curse. I know this sounds crazy, but it felt like
does not sound crazy.
I don't.
Only way I can explain it, I'm like, and this person's eyes were like, I just remember them as being like all black, like the whites of the eyes, like just, and I don't know, and I had good intentions, but I don't know. I think I let a couple of people in my life that I had no business, and I don't know what I try to go back to it, but it's scary that one or two people can really cause you great harm if you let them get close to you, even with girlfriends. And you know, you have a homegirl, you think that they're for you, and you tell them all your business, and then when they get mad at you for something that they don't get, they remix all your shit, and they have enough truth to make stories believable about you where they can turn folks, and you're like, oh my God, this 2% is true, but not the 98. And you think that people will be smarter. They don't. If it sounds juicy, think about it. If you see someone that you perceive they've been winning for a long time, you start to almost get sick of them. Like, oh, this bitch got another show. Right. So when you see that over and over, and maybe if your shit's not as where you want it to be, you might be okay with when you hear something bad about them.
There you go.
Life ain't that great for her anyways. And that's a human nature thing that some of us do. Like we almost like to hear they're not as perfect as we think, or they're not as good as, and it makes us feel better. And I've gotten that a lot because I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't going nowhere. So it's been 26 years. I promise you, I got another 20 years of me. So I expect more attacks, and that's okay because I got through the worst one, I think, and that was it was bad.
Right.
But my cat saved my life, and I still got the cat. There
you go. And how? What was the thing that kind of got you out of that whole space? Like, was it a job? Was it a person? Was it something? What got you out and things started to get better?
When I was going through my 3 years, so in this business, when you're not booking things, you don't feel wanted and you take it personally. So I didn't feel wanted anymore. I felt like, honestly, I was living I had a house in the mountains in Stevenson Ranch in California. It's like north of LA. It's beautiful.
Yeah, really nice.
And so I remember feeling like, I wonder if I died, how long it would take for someone to come find me. I don't think anyone would show up. I think I would be here for a long time. And I felt like since I had no gigs to like help others, or I didn't have that plug anymore, I felt like I was like of no use to anyone. One of my girls forced me. She came over and I was just like not answering the door. I was in bed for like weeks, honestly. And she showed up, and my friends have this thing about me. They're like, we know you don't like to hug and you're not affectionate. She made me hug her. And I'm like this, like, and I was crying. I just finally like let go, and I like, collapsed in her arms, and she was like, nah, you getting up. So, then the class, like one girl she saw me. This girl, she was like, I need to have lunch with you. Why? She's like, I got to tell you something. And she's like, I see you, Claudia. You be trying to act like everything's good, but I could see in your eyes you're not happy. And I'm like, and you know, as black folks, we be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good, dog.
I'm good. I'm like,
Good
really,
dog.
I'm good. You know, you get that lump and you feel like I'm about to cry, and you're like, all right. And she made me face her, and she looked at me and she's like, no, you're not, because I was where you are right now, and you're lying. So she was like, I need you to take this class I took, and it got all that darkness off of me. And I did see a difference in her. Like, she seemed like a goth chick before, then she seemed like this light was on her. And I took the class. I saw other famous people in there. I saw, I can say who I saw, but I can't say what they talked about.
Yeah.
I saw F. Gary Gray in there.
Wow.
And that, like, that's a bond we'll always have, because we both were like going through some shit, and his shit out here ever since too.
Yep. Right? Yep. Look at him.
And we just both had shit we had to like deal with. There was other people there. I was like, we had to get in front of like, I think 100 people and say our shit. It was 3 days of intense, like almost like a reprogramming, like, you know, you got to deal with this stuff. And it helped. And I don't know, like my phone just started ringing. Like, honestly, it was like a switch was off and then the switch came back on. I had to practice being grateful. Like, I would just be thinking about positive things as I'm running. I would think about, you know, having things, and people started coming back in my life. It was so weird. They all ran out at the same time, and they all started coming back. It's magic. I don't know. God, I don't know.
It's not even magic. It's crazy to think how the world works, especially as you get older, like that law of attraction. You know, that like it's very, very real. One of the things I'm very curious about, though, is that you talked about being in a very dark place in Hollywood, being in Hollywood, you know, celebrity status, people familiar with you, you know, cats in jail, you know, shading amazing photos and sending pictures. A lot of attractive women at that point would have chose a route to lessen themselves. And it seems like we see a lot of that type of thing, that type of behavior going on right now with a lot of pretty girls who compromise themselves as if they don't have any real talent to do anything outside of just, you know, running to this guy. Okay, man, now I got to run to this guy because they just seem so dependent. Like, what kept you from breaking? Because you were at a very low place. What kept you from breaking? And then,
open, eh?
Huh? You're like, what kept you from busting it open for rich men?
No, not from busting it open. I'm saying you said you went to the lowest of lows. A lot of people, when they get to the lowest of lows, they do, you know, things that are uncharacteristic of themselves, you know, because I think, I don't know. It's like we see that a lot. Like we do.
You're right. And a lot of times they're not even at a super low place. They just do it because it's the easy way out. I, even at the bottom, I just had no desire to do that. I still had pride. And I remember the owner of the Lakers was sweet on me, which he's sweet on Jerry Buss. He's passed. But he, you know, he's known for liking exotic or whatever black girls, right?
Right.
And you know, when I was new, I went to some audition for a Laker girl calendar, and he got my information. He would hit me up, and I remember, you know, he kind of put it out there. And I will say this: he was always respectful to me. He never was like, you know, on some weird, like, he just like he
wasn't the owner of the Clippers.
No, not that one. So anyways, I remember him kind of hollering and pretty much saying, basically, I just like the companionship of women, and your life would be easier. And I was like, if I'm not into you, that's kind of like prostitution. And so I'm too lazy to and I don't know.
Use that word again.
It's a good thing you ain't got no energy, because if you had energy, you might be somebody that you don't want to be.
I might really be somebody. No, but I was like, it's my. I was just like, I don't want to. I would, even though I always felt like I know there's something bigger for me. Even in my darkest, I knew there was something bigger one day. I don't know when. So I declined to be part of the harem. Or, you know, whatever. And he was very respectful, because I know people are going to take this one little part and run with it. It's going to be all over.
Right. Go and run with it. Get the whole thing. Get the context.
They won't, though. And so I remember that being a test, right? So fast forward to like 2 years later, I'm kicking ass. I had like 4 national commercials running at the same time. I'm on Price is Right. Things are booking up. I'm working for Fox. Like I'm like getting it without anyone's help. And my agent took me to a Laker game, and we were in his box. And the owner and my agent was talking, and my agent was like bragging on me how I was like one of her top girls at the time. I'm kicking ass, and he was like, "Yeah, I guess that's why she doesn't need me." And I remember being like, "Yes." Because respect means everything. Like that was respect. You know what I mean? And that was a test, ladies.
That was.
Go this way and lead you down a path where the next guy might want you to shit on you to give you rent money, or you can go this way where it's gonna be some struggles, but there's no asterisk next to my name. There's nobody that can say she smashed to get this gig. There's nobody my career is clean. It may not be as big as I want it to be yet, but that's okay. Nobody can claim my shit but me. And that's why I'm still here, honestly.
I love how you say yet, because you don't put a timestamp on younger years or things that happened before. You're like, it's not as big as it could be yet. Even with all the accomplishments that you have, you still leave room for more greatness to come.
I'm not done.
That's right.
I'm not even halfway there. So.
Oh my goodness. Can you let the people know like what you're doing now, especially?
So I have a show on Fox Soul. I'm on 5 days a week. Monday night is Cocktails with Queens edition, and it's with Vivica Fox, Lisa Rice, Selena Johnson, and we just,
get icy.
Oh my goodness, we just had a fun show tonight, and wait, was it tonight? No, last night. I'm mixing my days up because yes. So yeah. It's really taken off. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm by myself on the show. Tonight I had SWV on tonight, and it was so dope. It was
those my sisters.
Oh man, they have great. I'm like
great voices.
Yeah, those my sisters. I went to Japan with them on tour.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, for a week. They are amazing.
I really like them. And then on Fridays, I actually pitched a new show. This is actually my new show. It's called Tea, like sipping the tea, GIF. And it's with Al Reynolds, who's Star Jones' ex-husband. Punky Dineva, who's a blogger that's super entertaining and so brilliant. And Gary with the T, from Dish Nation and, National.
Ricky Smiley.
So the 4 of us are on our show, and that's a great way to it's a book end the week. We got Mondays, Fridays, and I do that. I'm the new host of all the Love and Hip Hop reunions. I did one before the pandemic, so all of them: New York, Atlanta, Hollywood, and so I'm doing that.
That's huge, Chloe. You can't speak to that one. How did that come about?
Because I took the chance and did Fox Soul, which wasn't big at the time. We were just a little streaming service that could, and now it's blowing up, right? But I was okay, again, being humble, being like, you know what, let's see where this goes. I like this. And I interviewed April Jones from Love and Hip Hop and a couple other people. And I think I caught the eye of someone high up at VH1. That's what I was told. And they personally asked for me, and I became the new host. And I was like, how? They just reached out and said, would you be interested in hosting? My agent said, Love and Hip Hop Miami. I go, yeah, but they probably ain't going to use me. Like, I'm not as young, and I didn't think I was popping enough. I never think that. I'm always like, they want me. Okay. And they were like, she said, okay, well, we'll start talking numbers. And I'm like, they ain't going to go for it. And we get back, and she's like, oh, I got you more money too. I was like, wait, what? Huh? I get that for 2 days of work? Fuck yeah.
Go.
And then the pandemic hit, so we only did the Miami one, and we're waiting to do the rest. So that happened, and some other people, some big looks are looking my way. I want when it happens, I'll tell y'all. Because then people be trying to you don't want to do it. But those 2 things have been really exciting. Soul Train. I just did the press room for the Soul Train Award, so that I did all the interviews for that. It's cool because I'm starting to get the look as the
one,
the chick that interviews folks. You know what I mean?
The one.
Exactly. you don't flip the switch. From always being interviewed to interviewing people. Not everybody can make that transition. Yeah. But another one of another amazing person who has made that transition, who's able to do both. I have to, say when Claudia Jordan comes to mind, I'm very thankful and appreciative of you in particular, because you helped a very good friend of ours get out of a very dark place.
Mm.
And helped to navigate us onto her well-being and how she was doing.
Yeah.
Our very good friend Melissa Ford.
Yes,
You know
indeed.
what's funny about that? Me and Melissa did not fuck with each other at first for a long time.
Mm.
And I felt like it was more from her, like she didn't like me out the gate. And I was like, damn, why is this lady being mean to me? So that's what made it even a bigger deal, that when that happened to her, like it really, we got cool before that. But it was just a weird thing. Like, I don't know if maybe one of her friends didn't like me, whatever it was.
Right.
But I'm pretty open-minded where I can still recognize someone in need or someone that's going through something. And I feel like people need to like separate their feelings sometimes, or just overlook, like try to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Right.
Okay. And also allow people to make mistakes or start off rocky with something and then evolve. Let people evolve. So when she got into her accident, I remember I really got to give credit to someone who really didn't get much credit. Was our friend Miriam, who was a saint. She's a sexy, beautiful girl. You see her, she's popping on Instagram. Manifesting Miriam, Manifesting Mary is her name on there. And she let me know, and I went over there and we looked out the boat. It was not just me, it was her as well. Like she was doing the heavy lifting. Like she would drive from Woodland Hills to Beverly Hills and bring Melissa dinner and lunch and check on her. I would sometimes come in and we would go to take her for her checkups. And I started a GoFundMe page because a lot of people in Hollywood, listen, ain't as rich as you think they are.
Right.
You have ebbs and flows. It's not like a consistent, and sometimes it's like this and it's like that. And a lot of people these jobs don't come with health insurance. LA is one of the most expensive places to live in the country. So I started a GoFundMe page to help her. Her car was totaled, her head was cracked, and who knows when she's gonna work again. I could not believe how negative some people were about a celebrity needing a GoFundMe.
Right.
And the negativity. But I'm not gonna focus on the negativity. I'm gonna focus on the people that did step up, that really looked out and helped her. And I thought that was super dope how people, really, we raised some money and really helped her out. And I'm glad to say she's better now. And, she could have died that day. Someone videos, she's never seen them. I have these videos from the car accident, like people that helped her out, that dragged her out.
Right.
They sent me videos. They didn't know who she was at first. And then they how someone that was following me, I mentioned it. They sent me the videos from the accident scene, and Melissa hasn't seen them to this day.
Yeah.
And
wow.
It was scary.
Just to understand, like the fact that you need a real tribe to help you get through life. You need people that that you bring on, and they travel this road with you. Early on, you were talking about some of the wrong people that got in. Now you have the discernment to know, all right, these are the people that I want to bring into my world. Right now, who's in that world with you? Because I've seen you go through things in the press. I've seen you, shine, and you're telling this story about helping others. Who's helped you in those kind of times?
My day ones from Rhode Island, my girl Sonia Hernandez, who's now Sonia Smith. She's my Puerto Rican. She's the original Puerto Rican princess to be. We go back to '94. My girl Alta Lopes, she's out in Atlanta. She's in the financial industry. She's moving and shaking with the banking and all that kind of stuff. Well, I remember when I was rock bottom, she just was like, "What's your account number?" And she just threw some money in my account twice. And I'm happy to say that after that I was able to pay her back and then do the same for her. And that's my dog. Like whether I'm on something or off something, they don't care. I'm still their girl from Rhode Island.
Right.
We started, way back in '94 running together. And Lunell is also someone that people that friendship, and she always says, "We're such an odd couple when it comes to friends." And Lunell is my dog. Like she has my back. She really, really does. She checks on me, and we have real conversations. Not the Hollywood, "We should do lunch sometime," and then they never call. Or I've had a few that not a lot, but I've had some. And my girls in Dallas that I've been rocking with, this black women here are kicking ass. They got businesses. They millionaires on their own without having to marry a millionaire. And that brings me, I'm actually creating a show about the whole scene here with Carlos King. That will come out soon. Black women are going to be very proud of this project. It's not going to. It's what's needed. But yeah, my boy Kenny Phillips from Rhode Island. He went to my prom. I went to his prom. He went to my prom. No, we didn't smash, and he's a married boy. And I was my bestie in high school. Like that was my boy. You know, he really looked out when I was like rock bottom. He really did. My girl Danielle looked out. My girl Aisha Thalia, the real sexy, beautiful model in Miami. I don't know if y'all know who she is. Aisha Collins. She has a little waist and the curly hair.
Yes, indeed.
She's the one that made me feel okay to talk about depression.
Mm-hmm.
She talked about being, you know, issues with being bipolar and all that kind of stuff. And she made me feel like, damn, fly people can have these things too.
That's
okay.
Right.
You know? And that made me feel really okay with saying, all right, it's okay to talk about being depressed and I'm not alone.
That's real. That's real. Wow, man. Thank you. I mean, hey, she just tied it up for me.
I'm just mind blown. I need at least one more thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm gonna be giving you long answers. I know.
No.
When I hear long monologues, I'm like, shut up. Can I get in?
No. These are great. I would love for you to, you know, just one more thing. You know, me and Daytona both got daughters. Mm. We both have daughters. I would love for you. You know, what are some of those life lessons? What are some of those things that, you know, Claudia of now would have loved to have shared with, you know, young Claudia coming up, you know, whether it was you as a child or just getting into the game, you know, figuring it out. Like, what are some of those amazing life lessons that you would throw back, you know, to yourself?
Young girls, don't put yourself and your happiness and how comfortable you are ahead of a boy or a man. A lot of times we are bombarded constantly with these messages from the media that if we don't have a man, a husband, or child, that some way, somehow we are not worthy, we're not as valuable as the woman who is in a relationship who might not even be happy. We got to stop valuing women based on she ain't even got a man. Well, maybe she ain't met a good one yet. Or maybe her standards are she had such a great dad in her life that she's like, nah, until you treat me as good as my daddy did, then I'm not going to just compromise. I would also tell women to, young girls, just know that don't expect everyone to be as kind and as classy and as nice as you are. And that doesn't mean that you're fucked up. It means they're fucked up. Mm. And don't be afraid to cuss a motherfucker out that tries you. Defend yourself. Don't go along to get along, and don't be a me too. And support other women. I promise you this. It'll come back to you times 10. It's okay. You know what I mean? And don't give it all away for free, please. Do not. I know that's the thing right now, to be on OnlyFans, and you see people making $5 million because they suck dick for 2 seconds on an OnlyFans. That shit is not going anywhere. It's going to be on the internet for the rest of your life. And you're better than that. You're better than twerking. Just, there's nothing wrong with twerking, but don't let that be your main thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can have levels, you can have layers. It's okay. You can be the girl that's at the top of her class that still likes to have fun. And don't let someone pigeonhole you into that one thing, that one moment they caught you with a drink in your hand. That's not who you're more than that.
That's right.
And listen to your daddies if you got one.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I needed right there.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Claudia, thank you so much for rocking.
And Carrie Mace, because sometimes
and not the rapper.
Not the rapper, Carrie Mace.
For real. Thank you so much, for real. I mean, like, this is amazing. I knew it would be, but I didn't know it was going to be this amazing. Totally appreciate your transparency, your honesty, and letting people know about all the different layers of you. One more time, let people know when the show comes on so they know when to tune in.
Download the Fox Soul app or go to foxsoul.tv and check out my show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East. We got Cocktails with Queens on Monday. We got Out Loud with Claudia Jordan Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And we have T as in T, GIF on Friday with Gary with the T, with Funky Dineva and Al Reynolds. And stay tuned for VH1, Soul Train, this other show. We'll see what else happens. But yeah,
19 years later.
There we go.
I'm gonna need King Magazine to come back. I need y'all to come back, man. I need
You see the drops. You see the
19 years later, yeah, we might have to come back. And you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Claudia, Lisa Ray, and Vivica, King alumni. See, we got to come back and get Selena because she bodybuilding. Yeah. We didn't get Selena.
Can I suggest a 40+ edition to show these girls?
That would be crazy.
Nicole Murphy in there. Tracy Edmonds probably won't model, but you know that's
my God.
And I like this. We haven't talked in a while, but I definitely reached out back in those days, and we were going to do like a project. I love her. She is amazing. If you get the crew together, we could get our crew together and make it happen.
Listen, there's some beautiful over 40 women that are really showing that, it ain't over at 30. It ain't over at 35. And they're actually all beautiful in their older age. And, I'm just saying, older women.
We here for it.
We trick off. I'm just saying.
There you go.
We here for it. We here for it.
They bosses too.
We here for it. We here for it.
Come on, baby. You want some Yeezys? I got you.
I got that PS5 for you, baby.
Claudia Jordan, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna start working out so I can get ready for the issue.
Let's go.
Exactly.